Welcome back to another episode of the Overland Bonfire Podcast, supported, sponsored, and staffed by Blue Ridge Overland Gear.
All of the above.
Yeah, it's almost like that's us. Hey, so we're on a roll. We've got another special guest. This is like a couple deep, and I think it's actually
2 in a row.
Yeah, we've got another one.
Right.
Sorry, 3 in a row. So Keith, then Brock. Now
Wow,
look at us.
Sweet.
People are coming to hang out.
Who knew?
Yeah. So
If you ask them, they will come.
yeah, that's true. It's weird, right? It's Field of Dreams situation. So if you've watched some like older videos and stuff, especially like around events and walkarounds, or should be a stranger, trailtec for a number of years, right? You said it's actually been
10 years, shut down 2 years ago today.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So
2 years ago today.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know there's at least one walk around from one of your previous trucks.
Yes,
from
we
way
did
back in the day.
the walk around of the Ram.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, with the yellow cab on it
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
Right. And now you've gone van. You've gone full van.
Now we've gone full van life and not going back.
Yeah, no.
No regrets.
We're liking the Ford.
No,
you have a Ford?
no regrets.
No.
You have a Ford, right? Yeah.
Yes, Ford
and
Transit.
You're liking your Transit?
I love it.
All-wheel drive Transit?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an all-wheel drive. It's the trail edition, so it came with a 2-inch lift, and of course I had to add more to that, and it's on like 32s now.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a good-looking van for sure.
Yeah, no. Well appointed. Like kitted out without looking like it's got just stuff everywhere. But yeah.
It's still it's Amazon Plus.
Yeah.
Amazon Plus.
Yeah.
That's really good.
You know, it's not quite Amazon when you see
Yeah.
it coming.
Yeah. Man, I kind of want to get one now in like the same color scheme and then just put a different river name on it,
A different river name.
Yeah. What was the one in the Roosevelt book about like after he lost re-election and he went into that trip on the River of Doubt? It has a really good name in Spanish. Like just put that on it, Yeah. And maybe it's like an upside down, so it's like a sad face instead of the smiley face. Trailtec, 2 years. This is how we do things here. Yeah. Do you need a notebook?
You're dealing with
Notebook,
you're
yeah.
dealing with ADD.
That's
Herb
perfect.
here, so
That's
go
perfect.
ahead and give me a sidetrack.
What have you been doing in the 2 years since Trailtec?
I took about 6 months and just built a new shop at the house.
Yeah.
Half for trucks and half for woodworking, but didn't really know what I was actually going to do. So
Yeah.
took like 6 months and kind of went camping and made stupid Trailtec videos of me camping, and nobody watched those. So decided to.
Nobody watched
I know some people watch.
Nobody really watched those.
So great.
So then I just decided to get back into woodworking and started messing around with the cutting boards and stuff. And
Yeah.
then we bought the van. So I had okay, honey, I just started this new business, but you want the van built because we're going on a trip in 2.5 months. So
Yeah.
then I kind of put everything on pause and
Built the van.
spent
Yeah.
7 days a week for 2.5 months on the van.
Getting the van ready. That's legitimately very similar to how Blue Ridge came to life. Honestly, I was lost for a little while and was like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna build a shed. Okay, I've got a shed. I'm gonna put some sewing machines in here, and I'm gonna make stuff. I have no idea
People
what
are
I'm gonna
gonna
make.
buy
Yeah,
it.
right. Yeah, maybe, probably not. It was just
Exactly.
like, who knows? Because at that point I had sold, I sold a business and still do some work. Obviously, still do a lot of work for those guys, but was just like, oh no, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So
what
what was the
lost.
first thing you made in the shed that ended up being in the Blue Ridge product lineup?
Tool bag or seat back panel? I don't know which.
Okay. Seriously, I know that you had some seat back panels pre Blue Ridge Overland
Yeah.
Gear. But I was
Same thing with tool bag.
Yeah,
Tool
yeah.
bag was all pre Blue Ridge, and same thing like shooting some video. No idea what I'm doing or why. Just I own a camera. I have an internet connection. I
was
should do
making
something.
making the Overland videos, and then I started working in the shop, and I'm like, it's a whole lot easier to set a camera up in here. I don't have to run down the trail and drive
Right.
past it and run back and get it.
Yeah.
And
Right, all this other stuff. No, I totally get that. Yeah, and
control the sound and everything.
right. And at that point, I had actually had air conditioning, and I put a wood stove in my shed, so I had
Yeah.
some form of heat,
Yeah.
and a big table. So at that point, it was a really similar. Sounds very similar to my slightly lost for a while. Going, oh no, what do I do with my time now? Because
Yeah.
And-
Well, it
and-
was the first time, I started my first big boy job in like 1997,
yeah,
and I never took a vacation.
yeah,
So it was anything more than like a 4-day weekend to work on the house or go
Yeah.
like maybe on a rock crawling trip or something.
Yeah.
So then it was like, I just need to take a break and step back and,
Figure some shit
you
out.
know,
Yeah.
I'm like, what, 47 or 46 at that point. I'm like,
Yeah.
my whole life's been working
Yeah,
on
yeah.
building stuff. And
Yeah. And you come from sort of the woodworking
yeah. Well,
background anyway.
before trailtec, I did 10 years as a remodeling contractor and
Yeah.
cabinet builder and stuff. So
Okay. So I knew you had done some like.
So finished carpentry is not out of your is in your skill set.
yeah, I really wanted to do something a little more artistic, I guess you would say,
Okay.
this time around. Like,
Then
you know, I
building
built
cabinets.
well, kitchen cabinets is like repetitive. It's just you
Yeah.
build a box,
Dude.
you build a box.
Yeah, there's just so many ways to put boxes on the wall.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So I never really looked at any other styles or anything other than what I was.
Yeah. Other than what you're doing.
So-
Shaker, flat panel, we're making them.
I've
Yeah.
got some buddies that have done some cutting board stuff. You know, I will say like semi-complicated, but just the ones you brought are like next level. Like I feel like the one closest to you, it's got like a QR code hidden in it somewhere. Like,
And if it doesn't, it should.
Yeah.
Like can you do that?
You can. So this is called a chaos board. So it's literally
Wait, just
or a chaotic.
listen,
board.
if you're on the audio only
not
version,
audio.
you've got to go to
Sorry.
YouTube for this one.
right, because this is crazy.
So this is basically the cutoffs from all of these type of boards that I built, and you know, you glue them together, cut them into strips, roll them, fold them, mix them all up, glue them together again.
Yeah, I mean, it literally looks like there's something hidden in it.
I feel like it's one of those ones that the old posters that you used to stare at,
Yeah,
and after a while,
something, right,
something
there's
would
some- right,
pop out at you.
Right. Yes.
So I need to figure out how to actually make that happen.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
We'll get some photos of this and post it on Instagram because honestly, I think even holding it up in front of the camera I got in front of the lights doesn't do it justice.
What?
It is like the grain changes direction, the shapes change. Like
And so, I'm out of wild curiosity, how long does it take to make that? Is that like a 3-day project? In my head, right? Like I'm looking at that and I'm like,
So the elapsed time on it's probably 4 or 5 hours,
okay,
but the total that was over like 2 weeks. 'Cause
okay. So you
there's-
spent 4 or 5 hours on it, but it took across a couple weeks because you're gluing and
right. You're always
You're gluing and clamping.
You're always waiting on
and
glue.
waiting and it right, waiting for the glue to set and
and there's
clamping and gluing.
probably 10 or 12 glue ups in that.
yeah, I was gonna say I'm sure there's like a process for like more or less you're making your squares, right? And then
Well, it's you're gluing it like this is what we call edge grain.
yeah.
So everything's running long
Right.
grain.
These
Yeah.
is all ingrained.
And that's all end grain. So
Yeah.
you make a bunch of these basically, then just keep ripping it, and then eventually you cut it
Yeah,
into
yeah.
slices to make the end grain.
And not even like all like lateral cuts. There's like diagonals in here and stuff like that, right?
Well, some of them were parts from a diamond board, so they were cut on 45, and then
Okay.
I had to figure out how to.
Yeah.
Put those
There's a
into
whole
the
video
project.
out there you can watch on.
Yeah.
So you have
So,
a, you have a
it's-
video on building that. Do you have a video on building all these?
Everything but the straight grain ones.
Okay.
What's your
So, yeah.
channel?
And-
We should probably plug that right now.
Yeah, Evolution Woodworks.
Evolution Woodworks. It's on your hat. I could have just read that.
Yeah, it's
And
It's
on his-
everywhere.
on his
I-
shirt.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does a way better job of bringing than we do.
It's on this board that I'm
actually.
holding in my hands.
I almost didn't wear this because I feel like I'm wearing a uniform all the time, but
That's all right.
No, this is really cool. And like I said, we'll put
feel
this
like
on
we should wear
Instagram
uniform
because
more, so.
yeah.
there's no way on video we can catch like how
It's
cool this is. Yeah.
Crazy.
Even with a good camera and lighting and photography, it just doesn't.
It's hard to do that justice, but
Doesn't
that
show
is
what it looks like in
really
real life.
impressive.
And then
Your cheese would look really good on that board
Yeah.
if you have
Yeah.
if you have good cheese.
Definitely.
I'm trying to think where were we? Oh,
it makes Velveeta look good.
we were
Yeah, it
we
makes
were
it
at Jimmy's
look
and
good.
or yeah, I think
John's.
we were John's, and you showed me this one. Even though this was just like the straight, you know.
This was like the partner to the one that Matt got.
yeah.
So that one has more. It's still, you got Purple Heart and Paduke and
Yeah.
Walnut and Hard Maple.
Yeah.
And yeah, his was just a different pattern. I made like 3 or 4 different straight patterns when I was, basically it was just kind of like the shop isn't hardly even set up. I didn't have a workbench.
Yeah.
It's like I'll start making cutting
Make
boards.
something.
We'll throw
Right,
on the
right,
internet
yeah,
and see if they sell.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
the-
Let's make something and see if
Even though that one's simple, it's really cool. I like you got the exotics and like the more like
Yeah.
normal wood to contrast it there.
And it's really pretty. Sadly, when you put the oil on it, it gets beautiful. But then as it absorbs the oil, the pretty colors get darker.
yeah.
So it kind of
I don't know. We use ours all the time, so and I've only had it a couple of weeks, but it's
Are you using it?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
So,
no,
yeah,
we-
those ones are small and thin. I think they're nice.
I mean, small and thin. It's an inch.
Yeah, it's an inch.
Okay.
Most of them, most of the big, more expensive ones are like 1.5 2 inches thick.
Yeah.
No, I have a buddy that made his own butcher block and then welded up a frame for it. He always had wanted like something solid, and it literally sets at the end of his counter.
Well, have you seen the countertops
Yeah,
in
I
the
was
van?
gonna say. Obviously, you applied this to your van build.
Yeah.
Like the woodworking there is next level. Yeah.
I think the countertop in the van might actually be patterned off the board that you have.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Wow. So are I know you're not, not doing suspension stuff and sort of truck stuff now. Are you doing any stuff for vans specifically or no?
No.
Or have you been asked to?
I've had a couple people ask me about doing like a full van build,
Yeah. Okay.
and I've kicked it around a little bit, and I'm just not really set up for it
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. That's a project, right? Like, I mean,
It
that's
is. That's a month, multi-month
project.
project.
Especially with the way you're set up. I mean, to roll
Yeah.
a van in and
And I don't have 6,500 square feet with 12-foot roll-up door
right. That's
that
what
I can just park it in the corner and work on it as needed, like I used to. So it'd be sitting in the driveway,
Yeah.
and then moving in and
coming
out.
in and out. I mean, my van's the mid roof, literally, because the high roof won't fit in my shop, and
Right.
so I went with the mid
Mid
roof.
roof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid height.
So I stand in it like this when I'm inside. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will appreciate. I will say the high top. That's one of the nice thing about them is you can straight stand up in them and walk around. But
well, it's I was looking at things like tree height, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going from a truck with an Alley-Cat which was 8 feet tall, and I'm looking at getting into a van that would have been 11 feet if I'd had.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like,
No, it doesn't fit in any of the drive-throughs.
That's just a drive-through, car wash.
Car
Like,
washes are a problem.
Yeah.
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 I don't go through a car wash, but
you get out in places like this, you actually have to look at the bridges.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start
right.
reading
Yes.
signs.
Yes. No, I've turned around for sure in the van before.
Yeah.
When I first started trailtec, I was doing it in my driveway at the house.
Yeah.
And we're on a dead end street. I had this truck, something coming freight, and
Yeah.
I told him, meet me at the end of the street. I'll come out and get you, and bring it in, put it in my bed of my truck. Sure enough, the guy drives a 53-foot trailer down my street
Yeah.
and takes out the Verizon line on the way in.
Oh.
And my neighbor across the street works for Verizon, and he comes out and he's like, too low.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll tell you right now, that thing,
There's no
that's
way it shouldn't
Verizon's
have
fault.
cleared. Yeah.
Yeah.
No way it shouldn't have
And then we
cleared.
had to get the guy turned around, and he like drove down in my ditch, which is this deep, and there's still a track down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have trouble getting drivers to come back here.
Yeah.
Believing that they can turn around when they get it. I promise we can get you
Promise you
turned
can.
So I promise.
So we used to
We
live in a-
understand
So
what
that
you're
was the other
concerned
way.
about.
I promise you can't turn around.
yeah. We used to live in an apartment building. It was an old like Hampton Inn. Like they converted a hotel. And the front like entryway, was covered like you would expect.
Right.
Oh man, we had some great ones. Like somebody moved in once, and their dad was driving the U-Haul and didn't even touch the brakes, and the sides of the U-Haul went between two trusses up there, and it rolled the middle back like a giant tuna can.
Yeah.
I mean like 4 feet.
I've watched that a lot on,
And then,
trains.
yeah.
Train bridges that are low.
Yeah, no, I mean
there's a bridge in my hometown that they're actually raising the bridge like right now.
Yeah,
Because
because
after
of that.
so many years, it's made Facebook reels and everything.
Yeah. That's
Well, I was going to say, but my favorite, and I still don't know why they were there. Our apartment was like 2 doors down from the entrance. Sitting there one like a Saturday, and all of a sudden I hear this like really loud pop, almost like a gunshot. But I was like, what was that? And I look out, and there's a like the little short bus, like transit buses or whatever that they take like folks around town. Setting, they've made it through, but there's something white blowing all over. And so I leave the apartment, go down, back out, and all these old people are getting out. It was like a senior citizens like trip. I don't know why they were coming through our parking lot. It was the hatch on top of the van was the only thing that wouldn't fit. And so when it popped, it pulled the whole hatch off the top, and it was all the insulation between the 2 layers of plastic blowing around.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they said that like it sounded like somebody just like popped around off inside there when it caught that thing.
I'm sure it is crazy. How painful, just being a driver would be. Holy crap. And then worrying about your van height
Yeah.
on half of that
Yeah,
stuff
and-
is
Trying to remember. And I just came to the conclusion that, for one, it fits in my shop so I can work on it.
Yeah.
Two, I'm not standing up in the van.
Right. No.
90% of the time I'm laying down or sitting down. And
Right. At
know,
no point did I did no dancing in my van ever, so there was no need to stand for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just,
Now you get in like John's van, or we have another friend that's even got the dually extended.
giant one.
It's like a party bus with the TV room and
A TV room.
You know, you walk
Man,
in
the
there.
problem
it's
with
like,
that though is even like some like forest road switchbacks, you've got to like back up and take another swing at them. You know,
Heck, here I have forest road switchback problems.
Yeah, that's
where
what I'm saying. I mean, like,
it turned into a 3-point turn just to get the van around it.
Yeah.
This is actually, the van is actually shorter than my Ram.
Yeah.
But the wheelbase is like 4 inches longer, so it's a 148.
Yeah.
So the turning radius on it's even worse. But at least I'm sitting right at the front bumper. So
Yeah. Because even John's
it's a lot easier that way. But you got to remember what's following you behind isn't coming in the same radius that you're going.
Yeah.
So he can take a back seat in and out, right? Like he's got like a track in the floor of his. Is that John's I'm thinking of?
No,
So John's is a crew.
It's an outside van.
Yeah. Somebody has had their van here.
I think it started as a crew.
Okay.
Which would have had a second tracks for a second seat.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think he took the seats out when he got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I think would be the cool. Like you could still have a back seat, and then if you don't have anybody that needs to ride in the back
Jenny's
seat,
has the Revels have like that dinette.
the little
There is 2 seat belts. That
a little bench
so,
there.
Yeah, you can actually use the back seat in that.
Can you imagine seatbelting yourself into the dinette? Like
the table flips up and everything. Yeah.
Like I mean, like if something goes sideways, you're doomed.
Yeah.
I mean,
that table's gonna beat the crap out of you.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just some of that I just kind of chuckle. I'm like, you can drive with 6 people. I'm like, yeah, but 4 of them, they're not gonna, like a good solid bump in the road, and they're gonna die.
Yeah. Like we were laughing about Brock's jump seats in that Rover. Like,
right?
Why are these even here? Like,
yeah, no, take them out.
Yeah,
but we're the generation that rode in the back of pickup trucks with.
Dude, I rode backwards in a station wagon.
Yeah.
Pointing.
Yeah, the old jump seat in the
windows.
back.
Yeah, pointing the wrong direction. That was probably halfway safe though, because you were reasonably supported. If in a head-on collision, you probably would have been better off.
We had like a Citation hatchback when I was a kid, and my parents had just put the back seat down, and my sister and I would play in the trunk.
No, I drove all over I rode all over the place in a Scout the exact same way.
Yeah, I think the old Brats had the best option, where it was like the
seat with the handles
in the back. Yeah, like racing
backwards.
seats. Yeah.
I'm not sure that was the best option, but it was an option for sure.
It was an option.
It was an option.
I mean, I think it'd be like an ejection seat, right? Like even if the whole seat came out of the back, you're still probably gonna stay in the seat.
It's probably better than us sitting up on the bed rail, just looking out around the cab.
Yeah, right. No, 100%.
I had a S10 with the jump seats in the back, like first year of college or so.
Side down.
Yeah, and definitely had 4 guys crammed into that thing.
Oh yeah.
And would always tell people like, you should put your seatbelt on. Well, why? Oh, you'll find out. Like go around a curve. It's vinyl and there's nothing to grab onto. So like for sure have like deposited buddies in the other buddy's lap before. Your arms are tucked down once you start going,
It's
like,
over.
That's why I told you. Like just it'll keep part of you in that seat.
Told you.
I don't know why you would even tell them at that point.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just dump them?
The van life is rather tempting, like having something like that where you can just pull up, hang out, stuff like that. So
I tell you what, it's been like a serious game changer just in the simplicity of it. And even like through the week, John and I go for mountain bike rides, just coming back and having like a changing room.
Right, yeah.
Or we'll leave the ACs on because they're running off the batteries and go do your ride. And when you come back, it's like, oh, it's nice in here. I can change my clothes. And
Yeah, there's something to be said for
put clean
that.
clothes on my soaking sweat body.
Yeah.
So your AC runs off the battery? That's not factory, right? That's an aftermarket project?
Yeah, it's a 12 volt Velit R2000 on the roof, or 2000R or something like that.
Okay.
So it runs like the max it pulls is 60 amps.
Okay.
So I have 560 amp hours of lithium, and it'll run. I've been out for 2 nights and ran the air conditioning like half the day and all night, both
times.
Both
And
times.
it had enough battery.
and still had enough battery.
Coming off our current heat wave, that sounds sublime.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. I.
And we just put one in John's 2 weeks ago
Nice.
to replace what he had, because his basically just blew hot air on you. And
Yeah.
so now he's all excited to actually have air conditioning.
No, but I mean, like, used to do way more of that. Like, go somewhere, ride a trail, and you get back in the truck and just sit in your sweat, or you do what one of the guys used to ride with and just get weird in the parking lot. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I used to do that on dirt bike races and stuff.
Yeah. No, this
Get in the bed
guy
of the
would
truck and
Yeah.
legit had like this towel thing that he would
Yep.
like put around his waist that would like had like a snap or a hook, and then like pull off bibs and shorts and all that stuff.
girls are better at this than we are. Like
No.
my wife can get dressed in the middle of a parking lot with a towel on and nobody will know she did it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh no, this guy didn't care. He would walk around like in the towel for a while.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
Oh yeah, he's proud of his towel.
yeah. Like
I mean, if you buy a fancy towel,
you're making it weird
Exactly.
for me, and I know
Exactly.
you.
right? You
Those
wanna show
people
it off,
staring and ushering their kids in the car don't. Like yeah.
though. Make it weird.
So
woodworking.
real quick, yeah. So you talked about this one, which is wild. That one,
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in like this basket weave. I'm assuming some sort of basket weave. Like that's really cool. Will you pass me that one? Like
Yeah.
because I'm trying to figure out like.
It's super, super simple. It looks complicated.
Oh, I see now. So each one of these is like long, and it comes past the
Yeah.
basket. You know, the slider strip.
Yeah.
And it
when
lines
you
up
look at
here.
it, it's like, how did you get it to line up? Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
line up. But yeah, when you
So
look at it up
they
close,
just meet all four here, and then you're
it's literally like you take a block of wood, like a long 1.5 inch thick piece,
yeah,
and then glue a 1/4 inch piece on each side of that.
yeah,
And then when you cut it up, you glue them back together and then like switch each
Yeah.
every other one.
and then you just don't end up with a 1/4 inch on your
Right.
And you have
alternating ends here.
plans for this, right?
Yeah, so that's
Online.
all of this one, the plaid one, the diamond one, and there's another one I made. It looks like my carpet in my house.
Okay.
I call it the Four Corners because it's got this cool. It's actually the one I use in my house because it's got a big empty maple section in the middle, so you don't feel like you're cutting on the pattern. Like you're not
Yeah.
screwing up the pattern or anything.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
that
The
interesting?
pattern's all around the edges, but yeah, those four. I think those are four. I have a fifth one too that I have plans on the website. That
Yeah. So it was
on
good.
how
yeah.
to build it and directions and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, so
And then you can buy these. Do you sell these online? And then
Yeah, they're
you
on
have
the website.
other stuff too. Like you've done some like live edge table stuff, or
Yeah.
that's something that you're.
yeah, so I just built a standing desk with a river, like an epoxy river down the middle.
Oh,
Okay.
With the powered base and everything that goes up and down. And
Wow.
yeah, I'm just
So I have a friend who's a veterinarian who, it's interesting because I think making stuff and creating things is important, and doing it with my hands, right? Like
Yes.
I have to build something. Like I
Yes.
know I have to make stuff, and I can be relatively happy making about anything. Like I
I
can
just
get
like to make stuff.
cabinets. I can make a cabinet and I can feel good about, like, because I turn around, it's done, and I can see something I've built.
Yeah.
Like I like to
It's
physically.
sense of accomplishment.
I want to build
I'm,
a couch.
I'm like
right?
you. I built a camper. I built the whole camper from the ground up. And
Right, yes.
Well, it needs a 10 on top because it's a pop top. So I learned how to sew.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So I have that. Like, and again, and I think it's interesting. So I have a friend who's a veterinarian who got into doing messing around with some cutting board stuff, woodworking, small scale, smaller scale things, like stuff you can buy patterns for. And got a huge amount of fulfillment out of that. And it took like no space in his house because he doesn't have, they live in a suburb area, and he's got a garage. So he's got, at that point he had a planer and, a chop saw and some miscellaneous stuff that he was able to.
And a lot of people build this type of stuff with job site saws.
Yeah, that's right.
Their entire workshop is that.
Yeah.
My table saw is bigger than that.
Right. Yeah. No. But he was able to put some kind of neat stuff together, and like I said, got into that between sander and a couple other miscellaneous hand tools, and then a couple, like I said, a couple miscellaneous pieces of, mounted tools as far as planers and stuff like that.
Yeah. 'Cause
And
you-
for not a ton of money, like he didn't have $1 million in the project. He's probably got $800 in actual tools. Not that he gave a shit about how much it cost, but
Yeah.
and then was able to actually kind of start creating stuff. And I know for a number of years, like, built all kinds of random things. Like that was his, that was kind of his escape from that, and sort of fulfilled that. I think you probably need less. You don't need as many medical professionals if you're doing more stuff like that, right? Like, I mean, I think that people that, it's hard for me to be depressed when I'm making something and I can get to see the result at the end. Like like I'm having a shitty day. If I build something, I feel better.
Yeah. No, I think
Like-
it's that sense of accomplishment of like I made that.
Yeah. No,
kind of like with this, the more
Woodworking taught me to calm down and actually have patience.
Yeah, and hyper focus when I'm building stuff.
Hyper-focus.
I hyper focus on it, so I block out everything else. I don't think about any. I don't want to say problems, but you know what I mean. I don't think about stuff that's going on. Because this is what I'm paying attention to. I'm keeping my fingers out of the saw and whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you don't, you mess yourself or stuff up.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
add cameras to that, and suddenly you start. There's a whole nother layer of I need to remember. Okay, I remember to turn that on, but I also need to remember not to run the finger. Hi, camera.
But
While
if
I'm
you
on
do,
camera?
that clip's going
I mean,
viral.
yeah,
Oh my God, yeah,
for sure,
that one-
You're going to make a living off
When
of
I
that
got out of the
one, for
hospital, that baby's going viral.
Yeah.
But no, and I think again, like even being able to buy patterns and build some of this stuff, because the other thing I think is interesting that he figured out, because he's originally from like the Bronx, like in New York, moved into Maryland, started a practice, did that, and like I said, was kind of looking for something. And I think one of the things he figured out was that this is doable. Like, you know, he could go find wood, buy wood, put stuff together, cut pieces, and kind of build patterns and do some things like that. And just ended up getting a ton of enjoyment out of it, but not like crashing like family time or crashing a bunch of space in the house or whatever.
Well, like you said,
And-
4 or 5 hours across a couple weeks, right? Like,
Yeah.
And that's on something crazy complicated,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Right.
you can start with something that's just straight slats and
yeah, that kind of stuff. If you're batch making stuff,
Yeah.
you can get it down to a couple hours. The sanding takes longer than anything. That's if you go to like craft shows and stuff, the level of finish work is what distinguishes things.
value. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
'cause-
much- how
there's
How nice
people
it
selling
looks.
like that board for $50, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
like I spent 3 hours sanding that.
right.
That's not worth $50.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. You can't do it for that. You can't make it look like
And
what
you got
you've done.
$30 in wood, so
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think people undervalue their time all the time. It's really easy to do, and I struggle.
after
I
starting,
think everybody struggles with
I was
that.
going to say, and you know this, after you start so many businesses, you figure out that your competition is always the guy down the street that thinks he's okay making. If I'm making $10 an hour and I go into business for myself and charge 15, I'm doing good.
Right. Or they forget about all the overhead costs. Like
Yeah.
they just don't associate the fact that.
I work at home, so I don't have overhead.
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly it.
do.
Right. Yeah. Right. That overhead still exists. You're just paying for it a different way.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's from a business perspective. I think people just miss that, and I miss it. I think the other thing is because you can do it, you don't value it.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like you can fix your car, therefore you don't value that time. You can whatever it is you can do, you don't put as much value into that. And I think
Well, yeah.
it's-
When I started my construction company, my dad was like, "What people can't do that themselves?" And I'm like, "No." And if they all did it themselves, I wouldn't have a job. So
right, yeah. No,
it's a good thing that people
Yeah.
do other things to make money
right to make
pay
money and
us
then pay you. Right.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
to do things like
And I think I think there's two things there. It's important, and it's important that you figure out what you're worth, and you can figure out how to charge for that, or make that provide as much value as you can for the money, right? Like that's the goal. And then two, having something that you can, like somebody else could go out and build, and they can kind of learn the basic pieces and expand from that, and be able to take some of the stuff you've done and some of the video stuff you've done, and
Because like your plans, right? Like you said, this looks super complicated, but it's really not. So here, follow these plans, and if this is your second,
Right.
third, or 10th cutting
I
board,
made the video for that one,
Yeah.
and literally like the title of the video was like basket weave cutting board easier than it looks or something like that.
yeah,
And then one day I just got this bright idea, like, I wonder if I could just take cuts from the videos and make plans and explain the process, and,
Right.
and then say, refer back to the video.
yeah.
And they started selling, and I was like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah.
It's amazing how you stumble into stuff like that. And so, have you been doing more videos? Is that part of your? Are you going to be doing more?
so I try to put out a video. Like, I've been trying to put one out every 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. So a
that's-
couple of months is what the goal is.
Couple of months is the goal. Getting into the bigger projects, some of them take a month or two to build the.
Yeah,
a piece of
the
furniture
table or whatever it takes.
Yeah. So then you got to try to figure out, like, do I cut it into little pieces, and then
Try to put that together.
right. Sometimes people will watch one video and never YouTube will never show them the rest of the video, so
Right.
they'll never see the ending. So
Yeah.
trying to balance all that out, and trying to get into Patreon now. Just more or less because you don't have to fight with the algorithm so much,
Yeah.
and you can give them those little snippets, and those people are there to watch you.
Yeah, they're there to
So-
figure it out. So
Yeah,
that they
so
can,
they wanna
without
see-
hunting it down, they can, for a small fee, they can actually find
And if you get
all the directions to stuff.
if you get into one of those builds where I have tons of video that when I'm editing the final video, I'm looking at it and like, this is boring as hell, but
Right.
this is the details that people want
Right.
to know. So
Yeah.
I can actually put out more short videos.
Yeah. Like how not to chip pieces as you're cutting them or
Yeah,
whatever.
just
All
weird
the-
little details and how I had to spend all day setting up a jig to make this one little detail in a cabinet or something.
Yeah. No. And there's so many tricks to people that do that stuff for a living. You know what I mean? Or do it regularly that you can shorten the amount your learning curve so much by just again looking into something like that where okay, here's the plans. I don't have to do the math. I don't
Right.
figure this out. But at the same time, I can still go out, buy the lumber,
Yeah.
have a few tools, and come together and build something. And I think, like I said, I think there's a huge amount of value in people learning to build stuff, or learning to make stuff, or spending time making stuff. I think that's
And just taking like I said, with that one being, it's so much simpler than it looks. Taking the intimidation factor out of it for somebody who's sitting there going, I can never build that.
And when you say sanding, like I can run my nails over that and never register a line. I mean, like that's really smooth.
And that, like a board like this one, or if you go into the countertops on the van, you can feel it because the wood's actually shrunk differently.
Yeah.
The harder woods will shrink
Right. Yeah.
less than the softer woods, and they'll take the moisture more. And
Yeah.
we got out west in Moab where it was, those things were freshly built, and you go out there and there's no humidity, and all of a sudden I'm sitting in the desert putting board conditioner
on it.
Yeah.
Trying
That's
to
the one
keep it
thing
up.
I forgot to bring and forgot to give you was the board butter, the conditioner that I make.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
So it's
Yeah.
So you actually have your own cutting board or wood
conditioner. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mineral oil, vitamin E, and like beeswax all
blended together somehow and
mixed to a
some
proprietary blend
proprietary
in
blend.
the
That's
crock
good.
pot.
Yeah.
I made a batch last week. I had a crock pot in the house going with sausage and a crock pot out in the shop.
Going
Board
with
butter.
Oh, I was going
going.
to say, like, that'd be a terrible mistake. Like,
It is food grade, so
Yeah.
technically
doesn't mean it's delicious.
it's safe.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's good for your hands. Mineral oil and vitamin E.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm excited about it.
Yeah. This
But-
soup is terrible.
Doesn't mean your wife wants it in her crock pot.
Yeah.
Right.
No, like the humidity stuff's wild because I do some just like greenwood carving, and you got to be really careful with that because like you could like literally go outside to carve on the porch, and there's enough difference that you're like, oh, it's cracked. Like
Yep.
So we have in our drawer in our refrigerator that is like half finished projects.
And that's even with these, like you don't leave them laying on your countertop like that,
Yeah.
or they'll because all the moisture is getting on one side
Yeah.
and not the other side.
What do you do with them?
I stand them up.
Oh, you stand them up. Okay, that's good to know.
So like this, the basket weave's actually Sue's. She let me borrow that.
Oh, okay.
When that came in the house, it wasn't leaving.
Right, got
But it just sits on the countertop, leaning against the wall. So
Yeah.
so just the bottom edge is touching.
it. Okay,
And like that Chaos board, I put feet on it because it actually won't stand up.
right.
So that way it's always got air flowing
Air,
underneath it.
so
Yeah.
that's the key
And
is
then,
air flowing underneath it. We do
I
appreciate
have-
you using the market tote for bringing all this stuff
Yeah.
in. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And then for some of them, I made
Oh, little
little
stands.
stands.
Nice.
Look at you go. You're like it's like you've done this.
In fact, it
So
was
that-
an amateur hour. He was a pro.
Right. In fact.
and that gets into playing with my CNC because
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have to have all the stupid tools.
Right. So did you have a CNC router?
Yes.
Or okay.
But I
So
mean,
you're
honestly,
running
like these things are, functional art. So like having them more on display, I don't think there's a thing wrong with that. Like,
Right. Yeah, that's one of those. Having it sitting up in your house on the counter, it doesn't take away from the backsplash at all.
yeah.
right. No, for sure. Should I go? Should we do jerky today, or are we just gonna forgo jerky today?
We'll forego turkey.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I've got some in the truck.
I was gonna
just
say
forgot to bring it
if
up
I had a piece of jerky right now, I don't think it would suck the last bit of moisture out of me. So
Yeah.
here. Yeah, I could get through it.
No, I've had just out there filming. I've down the Jimmy green top down this and had a Gatorade while I was out there, like in the tire bag video. I throw away the Gatorade bottle that I had just finished. Like, yeah.
We had to get a Jimmy drop in there.
Yeah.
Green top for sure.
He does
I mean,
sponsor our drinkware here.
Right.
That's for
Oh,
sure.
I have a cabinet full of definitely cabinet full of green top drinkware.
we're not short on Yeti.
If I didn't have my own stuff, this would be a green top cup. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, and we've had Hydro Flask since the beginning and Stanley stuff before that. But I will say Yeti has figured out the tops on these things.
Yes.
And the fact that
the water
you
bottle
can
one
get
is really nice.
Yeah, that's
that is the one lid I don't like.
Oh, really?
Oh,
no,
this is the only one I have.
I have
I've
that
got,
on both of my water
I've actually
bottles.
bought extras of those to replace all my
So-
other ones.
So we got a couple of those, and Sue actually went and got the coffee cup style
For this.
So
to replace that lid.
I am way more prone. Like, I won't sip on something. Like, I'm going to whack half of that,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to go do something, and I'm going to whack the other half.
I
and
like
I'm done.
that size because it fits really well in the tote bag. And since you've, I
Life.
am on Tote Life now
Right.
with the insert. Like,
I can't believe that I didn't come up with that myself. That those were all Rick's ideas. And
no,
they're brilliant.
I have foregone
I'm
the
not
Go
saying
Ruck
it.
for the work bag. Yeah.
I don't know what else I would carry.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't. Like, that has been the best piece of equipment. And I have gone through a lot of going to work carry bags.
Yeah. I mean, because really, it only needs to be carried from the door
Right.
to the shop, from the shop to the truck,
Right.
and then back in the house. Like,
Right.
yeah.
I always had a laptop backpack
So
that I had all my stuff in. So
Yeah.
that was,
So we built a sleeve, right?
Right.
And I don't know if you've seen those yet. We can show you one when we get done. But
You should.
there's a sleeve that goes down in there and clips to the top and holds the tote bag up. So it holds the tote bag standing.
It's
because
like
the
a
sleeve's
rigid
got
tee.
rigid pieces in it.
like
So
for this tote,
Yeah.
the regular tote. Or
just the
yeah,
market
for
tote?
that one. For that
And
one.
the regular
Okay.
tote. Yeah.
For that, yeah. Sorry, for that one. Sleeves down and it's got a hard bottom, so it keeps the bottom open.
Okay.
And then you can stuff stuff down both sides of it, laptop in the middle. And it is just so much. It's got a little closure piece, which I never use,
Yeah.
to hold the laptop in
I
or
think
whatever.
before that, I used Duluth had some.
There's a bunch of neat stuff out
This
there.
before I ever knew.
Yeah,
You.
no,
This
it's okay.
probably
It's-
before you were in business.
It's okay. You can support the little Chinese kids and
Yeah.
no.
Well,
I
yeah.
wear Duluth underwear. I let them make my underwear.
Yeah.
This was back when they didn't even have stores. Like,
Yeah.
I bought this stuff out of the catalog,
Right,
and it was
yeah.
just drawing. I actually, we were talking earlier about comments on stuff.
Yeah.
I actually gave them a comment one time. I was like, "Can I just see a picture of the clothes?"
Yeah. No, Duluth
Your drawings are awesome, but I
Camp
really
War used to do that. Like Camp
Camp
War
War was
was
a,
black
it was
and
like
white.
a sketchbook.
Yeah.
But then you'd like, I guess I'm going to pick a color and hopefully it's rather descriptive. Like,
And the
Hopefully it's
Duluth colors are awesome in the drawings, and then you get
Yeah.
them, and it's like this is kind of underwhelming.
yeah,
kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, no, I forgot about Duluth having the illustrations. Like, so not Duluth Trading, but it's like Frost River canvas and leather bags, but it's somewhere up there. Like it may even have like Duluth in the name. There's another brand that makes bags that are like made up there.
Okay.
Yeah, but not Duluth Trading Co. Yeah, that's all Chinese.
Well, they had contractors bags back when I was
Yeah.
a contractor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's
They've
gonna
done
the contractor's briefcase, and they had the one that's like a console. My truck didn't have a console,
Yep.
so
But
It's all-
they've done a lot of interesting stuff over the years. I'm not anti Duluth. Matter of fact, like I said, I'm wearing Duluth underwear probably. So.
So, kind of similar note, right? Having a conversation this weekend, found out something interesting. Exeicio is only doing underwear now. Like,
Really?
Yeah. Like somebody told me like a couple months
They should
ago.
just stick them to what they were good at.
I don't know. I had like an Exeicio like
Sometimes
fishing
that's the
shirt that I loved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was like a travel shirt, But
The only thing I own from Exeicio is underwear.
yeah. No, I had some like I would put them like their clothes were on like a similar vein of like Royal Robbins and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
know?
No, I would say.
Like travel friendly, lightweight. Kind of.
I think there's a huge amount of clothing companies making stuff offshore in that vein now, though, that are pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
everything from Fajal Raven, who's got a bunch of interesting stuff
Yeah.
figured out, to what are these are
Climb or not
KU.
not climate.
cool. Is it?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
It's got the umlaut.
Yeah. Cool.
The German.
No, I've got a couple pairs of their pants I really like. I mean, yeah. Exeicio, I mean, I guess I think of that being kind of like a legacy outdoor brand.
Yeah.
And I guess they're just doing the underwear now, which I mean, they're good at it, right? And I'm sure
Yeah.
that's always been a huge.
And that's been, I mean, they're owned by Orvis now, so
Yeah.
I'm sure Orvis is just taking over the rest of
Yeah.
the rest of that line. I will say the one thing I don't like about these, and I'm going to start paying more attention, is they have like marginal snaps at the top.
Oh,
Like
is that
pretty
so?
disappointing.
Is it the open snap?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So I.
Also a problem with Duluth stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my wife has a pair of shorts that she just loves, but they won't stay snapped for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
No.
So my
Two things I won't
But I
buy
think
from
they switched
them.
that to a button after,
later.
yeah, like a year, the next model
Next
year
Yeah.
or
model year.
whatever. Next time I come down, I'll bring my wife's shorts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll tune that in because I'm about to do some pants. So
Yeah.
I'll have some practice in by then because every time I
really like the
I sit
slotted
down, I'm
buttons.
like, holy crap, my pants are coming down.
That
again.
Triple Lot Design uses
The what?
the slotted buttons. So like if they're not like sewn in, there's a piece of webbing, and then it's like
Oh yeah.
the button is.
Yeah,
on
a lot of the old school, a lot of the old military jackets and stuff had
Yeah.
that, where they had a real light piece of like 3/8 ribbon
Yeah.
through them, and then that stitched down. That's pretty good stuff.
You'll never lose a button that way. Like
No, they're not prone to coming off unless
Yeah.
there's complete failure in the where the ribbon is sewn
yeah,
down.
like versus just wear. Or,
Yeah. You won't wear them out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
pretty strong stuff.
Now I got for around Father's Day a new Orvis fishing shirt that I really like. You were talking about like Exeicio being owned
Yeah.
by them. I've had a couple, but they've got like it's nylon, but it's very cotton feeling. Like I don't know like what the wash or the mix is or whatever, but like it really feels like cotton. I think especially once it breaks in a little bit more, because
Yeah.
your nylon fishing shirts tend to like kind of get softer after a
Yeah.
couple wears.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. Like if this one holds up, I may get a few more from that line because the super poly ones like they get picked so easy, or some pile on them. But this thing seems pretty tough.
Yeah, recently Ariat's kind of been my go-to. Other than I hate Napoleon pockets
Yeah.
and shirts.
I haven't used my shirt pockets since I quit chewing snuff, and that's
The only
I'm
30
always
years
throwing
ago.
stuff-
So
The only
it's
thing I
normally
like
I'm just
them for is-
walking someplace and I've got something in my hand. I'm like, oh, throw it in my shirt pocket.
pants
Yeah.
pockets. Now those, like this side pocket on these babies, that's always got something in it.
Yeah, but like I'm with Duluth pants, is all my shit falls out. if you try, like
I can't wear Duluth pants because they're too small.
Oh, really?
Like there's shirts I have to wear 2 sizes too small. Well, they're originally made for plumbers who
Yeah,
are,
right. No, the fit mid.
they're
average
classic
Midwest form
like
kit,
big guy
form
with a
kit.
little waist.
Yeah, average Midwest.
So their
form kit.
pants
Yeah.
I can't. They fit me like spandex, and the tops I'm like it's trash bag.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, they're average
That's
Midwest
why I got
farm
away
kid
from
built.
Columbia shirts. I recently had this
Yeah.
conversation, man. Their sizing, because I had like a model of shirt that I liked. So, instead of buying them retail, I'm like on eBay or like, Sierra Trading
Yeah.
Post.
I
And
have
if,
some Sims shirts like that.
yeah, you get a medium and it's
Yeah.
like, it's a silver ridge and it's a medium, but it's from a different year. And it's like a trash bag compared to the one that I have that fits great, If
I have
just,
to get like a bigger shirt to fit across my shoulders and my chest, and then it fits me like a trash bag down
Yeah.
my waist, so it looks like I'm trying to hide something.
Yeah. No, I just didn't like the inconsistency of like, well,
Yeah.
okay, apparently in a 19 or 21, I'm a medium. I need a small in the 22. So it's like, forget that. Like, I hate sizing inconsistencies.
It's funny these days. Like I swear, when I was in high school, I wore an XL and it fit me fine, and now I'm like right on the
Vanity
borderline.
sizing is wild. Yeah,
I'm like on border of going to a medium now, and I was like,
Well, the problem with a lot of that stuff is depending on how they going back to changing manufacturers, right? Because you could make that stuff on a die press or a clicker press, or you could cut it, layer it and cut it with a big vertical knife, and depending on what you're doing, like
Excuse me.
you can have the if it's clicked, so it's pressed out. Shoot, it could be, the bottom ones can roll up. And they can be a half inch bigger.
Yeah.
And if you hit the right bottom ones together, you could have something that's an inch and a half bigger than the smallest size, all in the same size run.
Tolerance
Yeah.
will kill you in anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's easy to jack that. And you could see where as a company moves manufacturing, if they don't run the same equipment at the next place, or the exact same system at the next place that they run to, that their sizing would go crazy.
Andy, I know you
that's a
listen to
whole other
these,
podcast.
and Andy, you listen to these like usually like later, but this is the day that we had the conversation about the guy with the knockoffs. We've really got to do the compare and contrast bag. Like
Oh, yeah.
Andy's been in a good fight with a guy trying to defend the dude making the knockoffs. So like he developed this bag because he goes to all these events and he talks to the industry. It's like, develop the bag? You mean he took our bag,
Copy
added
the bag.
one zipper, and then Oh, it's Inca 4x4. I mean, anybody that knows like knockoff bags, like, added one zipper. Is that development? Like, because you're talking about it took 4 years, man. That's a really long time to like
Took
send
Add a
4 years to
fucking
realize
zipper.
there should have been a zipper there.
send our URL to a company overseas and be like, can you build this? But add one zipper in this seam. Yeah.
It has to be different.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that they made something different, but it is interesting if it truly took them 4 years and something that
The guy
if we
defended
actually
him
wanted
was
to make
like
the
that.
change,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
could do it in 15 minutes.
Right, yeah, he was like he's listened to the community. Did the community ask him to knock off our bag with inferior materials? And well, no, thanks for coming out, and it's always
thanks for
good
having me
hanging out with you. This stuff is really cool. Like honestly, I'm kind of geeked up on this basket we won. There's just something about it. Like
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
neat.
It's almost an optical, like,
yeah, no, for
if
sure.
you stare at it long enough, you start seeing dots in the intersections and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean it really does
It's
look
neat.
like it's woven. I mean,
Yeah.
It's really slick.
Yeah, and using some cool stuff in terms of like materials. I appreciate like some of these exotics and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to play with different colors and try to get things that just look neat.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Like we'll definitely get some pictures up on the Instagram. Like just actually like good lighting. We're check those out. So before I forget, discount code for this episode: Woodwork, all lower caps. That'll be on this
All
episode.
lower caps.
Yeah, all lowercase.
All lowercase. Okay, I just
Lowercase.
want to make sure because I was gonna.
No lunch.
Is that,
It's
is that
been-
the mid-size?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very-
yeah.
Lower
You have to
caps?
hit uppercase and shift at the same time to get that to happen.
You
Yeah,
get
yeah.
an elbow.
Yeah. Sorry, all lowercase. It's been a long Monday and it's not over
It's
yet.
been a long Monday. That's true.
It is 2:13.
Yeah, no, and actually it may be over because I don't know if I'll be filming here in a minute unless. But yeah, all lowercase Woodwork is our discount code because we've had folks using those. Yeah, like
Yeah.
matter of fact, the last one went live and like immediately somebody emailed. And I was like, "Holy crap! Give me a second, man!" Like, yeah. So,
Haven't even
Code's
turned
not
it on
no,
yet.
yeah, thanks for keeping me honest. We had that podcast went live a little early,
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, I got to do the discount code." I didn't think about like somebody was literally waiting. That's the joy of subscribers. I legitimately mean I appreciate the reminder and the support. Yeah,
We can't catch everything.
yeah.
Whether it's one person like me or a small group
Yeah.
of people, like, you definitely, it's good to have people remind you. And
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we'll do that for our discount code. And where's the best place for people to find your stuff? We will put that in the description, but we should probably plug that at some point in this thing.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff is Evolution Woodworks.
Nice.
The website is evowoodworks.com because some broker out there has bought Evolution Woodworks and is holding it ransom for many thousands of dollars
Yeah,
with no website.
yeah.
So yeah, it's just Evo Woodworks. It's even hard for me to say sometimes.
Yeah.
.com and that's
Cool.
where everything is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good deal.
Yeah, we'll call it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies. All that good stuff.
Yeah, if you don't like it, tell people that you don't like it.
Yeah.
That
Still
way
like
you
it,
can waste
just-
their time too. It'll be great.
Yeah.
No bad press.
Well,